What it do, YouTube? It's your boy, Young Jupe, Big Jupe, or you can just call me Jupe. Just make sure you call me. Before we get into this video, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Today, we got top 4 most hunted gang members receiving a life sentence. Well, reacting to a life sentence. But yo, damn, they had to do some horrific shit for life. Hey, we gonna see. I'm gonna link to the original video down below if y'all want to check it out for yourself. Without further ado, let's get into it.
These gang members took the lives of innocent individuals and now have to pay the price. Let's watch as they receive their sentences. Number 4, Montana Baronet. Montana Baronet, the 23-year-old man Baltimore police once dubbed the city's #1 trigger puller, was sentenced to 2 life terms, meaning he will likely never get out of prison. Prosecutors said he was without a conscience.
I wonder if it's possible to get what's it called? To get parole for it, like, cause I know you go in front of. I wonder has anybody ever done that? I don't know. I'm gonna look that up later, but that would be crazy.
And said he is responsible for 6 slayings.
I really returned back just to the evidence.
And another thing, but people don't realize that shit, but you are a serial killer. I think it's if you have like more than 3 people you killed or something like that, 2 or 3, you're a serial killer. I don't think they be understanding that.
Difficult for me, and I think it's difficult for anyone to really get inside the head of someone else to understand what their life is like and what they're thinking.
Valencia Bullock, the mother of Antonio Addison, who was slayed on his grandmother's front steps, told the judge, "I feel like Montana Baronet is the devil's child. Nobody can be that evil." She spoke of the pain of losing her son. Baronet headed the train-to-go drug operation that operated out of the Sandtown neighborhood. Prosecutors say Baronet was part of a group of masked gunmen who fired more than 50 rounds near the University of Maryland Baltimore campus in 2015.
Now, Baronet apologized
At a campus?
one victim's family, saying the victim spoke up and she described his life growing up that included going to church, was a good friend, and a relative, his sister, Baronet's sister.
That gunfire took the lives of 3 people, including 2 bystanders. Judge Blake said, "Perhaps at some age Mr. Baronet will understand what he's done. We're not there yet. There's really no choice but a life sentence." At the trial, which included co-defendants, there were reports of witness intimidation, and 3 co-defendants were charged with assaulting the U.S. Marshals who escorted them to the courtroom. Number 3, Victor Rodas. An alleged MS-13 gang member found guilty for his role in the brutal slaying of a Lynchburg teenager has been sentenced to 55 years in jail. The jury passed down 35 years for the slaying, 10 years for abduction, and 10 years for gang participation. At his trial, a jury recommended he spend 55 years behind bars for the slaying of 17-year-old Raymond Wood. Prosecutors said Wood was attacked 29 times with a 17-inch knife that was presented as evidence during
For fucking what? Like, what? For what?
this trial.
But it wasn't until this year an investigator stumbled upon something that may have never been found to try to find the murder weapon in this case, and that's according to testimony heard today.
The medical examiner testified that Wood died from sharp force injuries to his neck, torso, and hand. The defense argues that Rodas got caught up with the wrong person, alleged MS-13 gang member Josu Correas Ventura. Evidence revealed that Wood and Rodas knew each other. Evidence also revealed that there were a series of text messages from Rodas setting up a fake drug deal for marijuana to lure Wood to the scene where he ultimately passed. A co-defendant who testified during Rodas's trial explained that he met with 5 other co-defendants the evening of Wood's passing. One of them...
But my thing is, what did y'all kill him for? That's what I don't understand. How do you kill the money? I don't know, bro. I don't know.
An alleged MS-13 gang member with high rank showed the group a knife, telling them what it was going to be used to do.
So I decided instead of walking back through the high grass, I would walk straight through the woods to my car.
The witness testified that everyone was laughing, including Rodas. The co-defendants, including Rodas, met up in Lynchburg and abducted Wood from his home. They said Wood was screaming for his mother until they strangled him unconscious in the back seat. Rodas told deputies he was paid to drive the car, but he did not know why. Number 2, Rollin 30s Crips Gang. 3 Roanoke men, all members of the Rollin 30s Crips, a criminal street gang responsible for 2 slayings in the city of Roanoke, were sentenced in federal court. Sean Denzel Garant, 31, aka Harlem Dank, pled guilty to 1 count of racketeering conspiracy and 1 count of conspiracy to commit a slaying. He was sentenced to 37 years in prison.
Yup. That sounds about right. That's how much time they're going to give you for that.
Spending upward of 40 years behind bars
Shit.
because of the conviction of 3 Rolling 30s gang members, including the gang leader.
Trayvon Raycron Casey, 21, pled guilty to federal racketeering conspiracy, slaying in aid of racketeering, conspiracy to commit a slaying in aid of racketeering, possession of a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence, interference with commerce by robbery, and discharging a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence. Casey was sentenced to 36 years in prison.
Damn.
Investigators said Trayvon Casey, DeMonte Mack, and gang leader Sean Garant were all sentenced to upwards of 40 years in federal prison. U.S. Attorney Christopher Kavanaugh said,
and there's an allegation of gang activity. We here at the U.S. Attorney's Office are asking the question, is there a federal nexus? Is there some way that we can make this a federal crime? It wouldn't be appropriate for us to comment on ongoing investigations that we currently have, but I can assure you that for every single time that there is a gun that is fired in Roanoke.
Lee's father, Darrell Lee, spoke during a press conference on Tuesday about what he thinks needs to be done to combat gang violence in Roanoke. We can put all the money we want to, but until we get to the core problem of teaching kids what is right and wrong at home, this will continue to be a core problem.
This will continue to be a problem. We can put all the money you want to, but until we get to the core problem of teaching kids right from wrong at home.
Investigators said they believe there are no longer any Rolling 30s gang members in Roanoke. But when asked about other gangs in the area, U.S. Attorney General Kavanaugh said this: "It wouldn't be appropriate to comment on the ongoing investigations that we currently have, but I can assure you that for every single time that
they got a whole gang up out of there. That's crazy. Where is Roanoke? Where is that? I think that's somewhere on the East Coast. I'm trying to think of which state though. I forgot. I heard it before though, but the whole gang. Damn.
there is a gun fired in Roanoke and there is an allegation of gang activity, we at the U.S. Attorney's Office, we are asking if there is a federal nexus. Is there some way that we can make this a federal crime?" A 4th member of the Rolling 30s gang, who previously pled guilty to related charges,
That gang violence and gun violence on our streets is not acceptable in a civilized society, period. And we think that's exactly what these substantial federal sentences do.
is expected to be sentenced soon too. Number 1, Lee Rios. Hampton Superior Court Judge Mark D. Mason sentenced Lee Rios to life in prison without the possibility of parole. On Friday, a jury found Rios guilty of the first degree for 2015 fatal shooting of 18-year-old Kenneth Lopez. The jury deliberated for a day before reaching its verdict.
That's really wasn't that long. A day, yeah, most shit like this take longer than a day, so that really wasn't that bad.
Explain exactly how he did what he said he would do.
Assistant District Attorney Max Bennett read an impact statement from family members of Lopez. The family wrote, "The death of Kenneth was very unexpected for the whole family. It hit us so hard that we're still in disbelief that he isn't here with us." The jury found Rios guilty of the first degree under the theories of deliberate premeditation and extreme atrocity and cruelty. Rios was also found guilty of 8 gun charges.
25-year-old Lee Rios was sentenced today to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Rios was found guilty of first-degree murder last Friday.
Mason sentenced Rios to 14 to 15 years in state prison after the life sentence of the charge of improper storage of a large-capacity firearm. He said that some may suggest it's senseless to order consecutive times after a life sentence, but there are some situations in which it is appropriate. He said a large-capacity firearm was left near the presence of a number of minor children. The mandatory penalty for the first-degree charge is life in prison without the possibility of parole. Bennett said the slaying was meticulously planned, aggressively pursued. He said Rios made a calculated decision to lure Lopez from his house, enlisting the help of other Latin Kings members. He was excited to do this, and after he did it, he boasted about. Bennett said about Rios' slaying of Lopez.
Assistant District Attorney Max Bennett and Assistant District Attorney and Chief of Appeals Kate McMahon, imprisonment for life without parole.
Defense lawyer Marianne Stamm told jurors in her
I wonder what go through your mind at that time of just sitting in jail, life. What goes through your? How do you make it through this shit without just be like fuck it and be done with yourself, bro? How can you just? I don't know.
argument, the prosecution's only evidence against Rios, 25, was the testimony of people seeking to get help on their own charges. Both Lopez and Rios were Latin Kings members, but had a falling out. Bennett told jurors in his closing argument the conspiracy theory presented by the defense is not believable. He said numerous prosecution witnesses testified Rios told them he took the life of Lopez. That's all for this video, folks.
Damn, bro. That shit crazy. Imagine you being 20-something, you just get life. Or you get 40-something years. 40-something years damn near is life. Because what you going to get out if you 20-something? You getting out in your 60s. What can you do with your life now? Let's just be honest. So, damn, bro. That shit crazy. I mean, but hey, do the crime, gotta do time, I guess. Well, that's it for today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you will. I'm out.